Hi everyone. It's my pleasure to introduce myself as being part of IEEE NCU. We are back again with another yet exciting webinar by Super IEEE program in collaborations with T.I.M.E, Triumphant Institute of Management Education Private Limited, powered by IEEE. Powered by IEEE at the North Cap University. Today's topic of the hour is how to ace building a case study. A case study analysis requires you to investigate a business problem, examine the alternative solutions, and then examine the propose the effective solution using supporting evidences. And believe me, it can be a tedious job. You don't have a proper guidance to build your case study. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute honor for me to present to you Mr. Amit Poddar. He has carried several roles under his name. Amit sir graduated from the uh, Sri Venkateshwar College and pursued his MBA from the Indian Institute of Planning and Management. He also worked for a US-based MNC, Primus Telecom, for 2 years and then shifted to education industry. He's also headed a Pune-based company, Bullseye, for 3.5 years and looked after academic and marketing, and then joined Times in 2006 as knowledge expert and has grown to the senior regional head position. It has been a good 15 plus years for exploring the corporate world, training the other teachers, and mentoring the IM goal getters. With all that, I would like to thank all the attendees who have given us the precious time, and I am sure of that you will not regret any second of this webinar. We will be keeping a Q&A session just after this, so make sure you drop the doubts in the chat box during the session. We will take the doubts towards the end, and the platform is all yours, sir. Once again, welcome you, and please begin. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Yogesh, for that lovely introduction. Right, it's always a pleasure to take sessions for your college, North Cap University. Okay, so this is Amit Poddar over here, and today's discussion is on how to ace the case studies, how to solve situations, how to solve problems and issues, mostly say business problems, or it can be HR issues, or any other issues we face in our lives. See, if I kind of try to go back and focus on the past, say 15, 16 years of our education. If I'm talking of any student who is in graduation right now in the second or the third year, in the last 15, 16 years, if you really think hard, what has happened to you, all of you sitting out there? How do you develop? Is it about only knowledge which you have gained by taking all the exams every year, maybe semesters or trimesters or yearly exams? Is it only the knowledge, or is it something else? Has it been situation handling also so far? Have you developed a personality as well to handle situations and problems? See, my dear students, if you try to look at your past experiences so far in your college, in your school, at your home, you'll see that you have already faced a lot of cases. So this is not anything very new or something very Greek which I'm going to discuss in front of you. You have already faced most of the challenges so far, and it is not just about those challenges. You've also, in a way, tried to solve a lot of them successfully, I'm telling you, my dear students. In the past 15, 16 years, when we talk of our education till graduation, what do you get? Or probably, what did you get? And the answer to this question is your personality, your mental strength. Just not the knowledge of whatever was there in the books. It's about your mental strength. It's about your personality and how did you fare while solving daily situations. My dear students, I'm talking of, say, basic situations. Say, for example, say somebody staying at, say, Delhi, needs to go to Gurgaon, say for example, for some project or for some classes. Even planning that is kind of a case, that how do I go? How do I manage the logistics? If I need to go there every day, for example. So do I take a metro or a car or a bus or my own or a cab or what? So they can be, small situations like these, and we solve it. I mean, we try and understand, everything. We look at the financials, don't we? We look at that. We look at the comfort, don't we? We look at that. So see, it's a holistic thing. It's a holistic thing actually. So case discussions, please do not limit it only to your interviews while the recruitment processes. My dear students, it is the way of life. It's the way of life. If you feel like that, if you believe that you have already solved so many cases so far, if you believe that it's not something very new and there is no point, why should I take that pressure when I handle cases or situations in the real corporate world or during my selection process in some recruitment process, right? So with this mindset, one has to move on, right? So to solve any situation, I think Yogesh also mentioned certain things. We need to definitely support whatever decisions we make with particular evidences, some facts, some examples, so that we don't go wrong, so that we don't make mistakes while taking important decisions. Because, my dear students, I tell you, small decisions which are made in the corporate world, it matters a lot. The impact is on not only the company, it's on the society, on the country as a whole. I tell you, on the whole world sometimes. How many, number of vaccines should Pfizer make for India is again a big situation right now. How will we distribute those vaccines to our people is again another problem, right? I hope you understand that issue. Okay. Okay. So I'll share a presentation, and then with the presentation, I'd like to move on with this discussion today. And if in case you have questions regarding solving situation or cases or anything in particular, you can raise it whenever you wish to. On and off, I would like to go to those questions and try and answer it. Right? Okay, good enough. So give me a second so that I can kind of share the presentation. Okay. I hope the presentation is visible. If I can get some feedback, Yogesh and Bhumi. Is it visible, I think? Okay. So let me see if somewhere. Just a second. Okay. Thanks, Bhumi. Okay. I can see that. Okay. So let me make it a full screen. And then I can look at the questions also on and off. Okay, so that's where it is. So case studies today, they are relevant not only for recruitment processes, it is also relevant, for say higher education. A lot of times, if you wish to get into top IIMs or XLRI or ISB or top colleges around India and the world, during the interview process, they may give you some situation to solve or some problems to discuss. That happens a lot of times. Because at the end of it, whatever we have studied so far, the most important thing is the application of it. That how do I apply my knowledge? That's more important. And that's what they check. Either you go for higher education or you go for any job right now. Right? Sometimes in group discussions also, instead of a topic, they'll give you a situation or a case to solve. So this is how case discussions, case studies are relevant to you. I mean, if you can just look at the current situation right now, I mean, issues, problems, how to sort it out. You know, I tell you, in the last 8 months, 8 to 9 months, the biggest problem, I tell you, my dear students, faced by not only India but by the whole world, the governments around the world, they were not able to come to a conclusion that how to move forward in this difficult COVID time. Should the government focus on public health or economic development? I mean, that was the biggest case. In fact, if you look at the last 10 years, 15 years, I believe this is one of the biggest case even now bothering different countries. Even now, today also, I'm telling you, my dear students, after 8 to 9 months of the spread of COVID. So if you are concerned about the public health, I mean, you need to stop all the economic developments. Almost. Only the essentials were available. But then, because of that, the demand for other products went down and the GDPs, they were bound to go down. And that's what happened. Top economies like, say, Singapore and all, their GDP went down by 41%. Can you think of it? Almost half of whatever the GDP was. Countries like America, India suffered that loss of around 20-23% down from whatever their GDPs were. So we definitely realize that essentials are more important. We realize that. And of course, health is wealth. If we're able to save ourselves, of course, we can push back the economy. And now in the next few months, probably you'll see that roadmap towards, boosting economies of different countries of the world. All the countries have started, rethinking on different policies and how to put money in the hands of the public. So again, a huge case right in front of you. What if you are asked to be the finance minister in some of the interviews you face, and then you're asked to devise a roadmap towards boosting the GDP of our country, and you are the finance minister? So how do you solve this conundrum? What would you do? See, to solve any case which is economic or finance based, you need to have knowledge. You cannot just say things which is like very general and very common. You need to have specific core knowledge of the role of a finance minister. What impacts GDP? What is the contribution of different sectors of the economy to the GDP? Then only you can devise a plan. If I don't know the case well, how do I devise a plan? Tell me. How do I devise a plan? Right? You need to have some data, some facts available so that you can support your plan, so that you can convince others on your plan. Right? So that's one current case right in front of us. Some months ago, Maruti, which is again the market leader in our country, they failed to even sell one car in the month of March when there was lockdown. And for obvious reasons, of course. So now if you become a marketing manager or a CEO of Maruti Suzuki, how should you plan and market your cars? Should you try to make a shift towards electric cars right away, or you should wait for some more months or years? Because other competitors are ready with their electric vehicles. A lot of them are planning to enter our country. Again, a situation right in front of you if you are the CEO or a finance head or a marketing head of Maruti Suzuki. See, so which means to tackle any situation, we should have all the facts right in front of us, without which I cannot take any decision, because my decision cannot be based on my gut feeling. It's not the right way. All the data should be right in front of me. Right? So all these, recently Netflix, I hope you know Netflix, right? I mean, that's a sin if in case I ask you whether you know Netflix or not. But still, so they have defeated all their competitors. The closest one was, I think, Disney, and they are above Disney. I mean, their market capitalization rose to around, I think, 180 or 200, $1 million, I think, or even more, I think. So another situation, if in case you're asked to start a business in this situation, what business would you start? Again, a case, again, a situation for you. What kind of business would you start? Would you start an entertainment business or a food business? And whatever you start, what is your reason behind it? Why food business? Why entertainment business? Why not something else? Right? So these are some of the case-based questions which are asked during interviews normally to students. And see, what do they check? When they ask you those kind of questions, what do they check? I mean, first thing probably they look at is whether you are fair in your decision making or not. Whether you take decisions which are ethically and morally correct. Are you disregarding people who are of, say, lower strata, and you're only considering people who are middle class and above them? Then are you fair? Are you morally, ethically correct? No. Is it only profit which matters? No. Profit is an important thing. No doubt about it. But then, is that the only thing which matters at the cost of anybody No. So that's again an important thing. They look at the moral grounds, the ethical issues as well when they ask you questions on decision making and cases. Anything. It can be a situation wherein they tell you that, okay, what if we recruit you right now? We train you for 6 months in our company. And after 6 months, you get an offer from our competitor. And they're giving you double the salary which we are giving you, and also a better post. What will you do? So the competitor offering you double the salary and a better post, and you've been already working in my company, for example, for 6 months. So what would you do? What should be the right decision to make at that point in time? How do you answer this kind of question? Of course, you cannot just come up and say, oh, I'll leave the company and I'll go to that company because you're offering me double the salary and also give me a better post. That's fine. Not a problem with that. But on what grounds? Give reasons. So now here we are coming to another important point, and that is your solution is not important, not that important. Your answer is not that important. What is more important is your approach. What parameters do you keep in mind while coming to a conclusion or a solution? वो ज्यादा जरूरी है. किस बेसिस पर आप आंसर पहुंचे हो वो ज्यादा जरूरी है. क्या क्या अप्रोचेस आपने यूज करे एंड देन यू रीच द आंसर, वो ज्यादा जरूरी है, rather than सीधा आंसर बता दिया. I mean, those people who are evaluating you, they are not just interested in your answer or solution, a one line solution. No, grounds उनको चाहिए. किस बेसिस पर आप ऐसा बोल रहे. I hope you understand that point. You get more marks for your approach rather than just giving a solution to it. Okay? So for these kind of questions, of course, one has to be honest. I mean, you cannot say, no, I'll not leave the company because this company has trained me for the last 6 months. So why should I leave? I'll not go at all. Don't be emotional like that. Be practical, be honest. You would be lying when you say this. क्योंकि ये नौकरी नहीं चली जाए मेरे हाथ से, इंटरव्यू में ये पूछ रहे हैं मेरे से, तो मैं तो बोल ही दूं ना अभी कि नहीं, मैं तो नहीं छोड़ के जाऊंगा आपको, बाद में देखा जाएगा. नहीं चलेगा ये एटीट्यूड, my dear students. So probably the best thing would be to explore more, to dig deep. You need to tell them that, sir, I've been working in this company for 6 months. Of course, I must have gained a lot of knowledge. And most probably my probation would also be over by 6 months. So which means I would be expecting a raise over here itself in this company. And of course, a better role. So before considering that option, I would definitely go back to my boss and discuss about it. This is what is happening. This is the kind of offer I'm getting. I'll also look at my probation period over here, which would end, of course, in 6 months. And then, I'll get a better pay over here with better responsibilities. One. Second, I'll also look at future growth. I'll not just look at today's growth. I'll look at the future potential. What is the company which is offering me this kind of salary and a better position? Is a small company. May not survive for another 5 years, maybe. I'll have to also look at the long-term growth. I'd also have to look at my learnings. How much would I learn if I join them? See, ये सब बोलना होगा rather than कि I'll go or I'll not go. कितना टाइम लगेगा ये बोलने में? Right? I hope you get the point. Second thing, see, another important thing is what do you give for what? How do you trade off what for what? ये बहुत जरूरी है लाइफ में, तो ये होता ही है. That's called prioritization. जिंदगी में आज की डेट में भी प्रायोरिटाइजेशन बहुत जरूरी है. 90% हम लोग नहीं कर पाते ठीक से. 5 काम होता है तो वी स्टार्ट विद द वर्क विच इज ऑफ लीस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट, वही वाला पहले करते हैं, और जो मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट है उसको लास्ट में रखते हैं, तब तक टाइम खत्म हो जाता है. आई मीन दैट्स नॉट अ गुड वे. यू नीड टू नो हाउ टू प्रायोरिटाइज. लाइफ इज अबाउट दैट. ऑफ कोर्स करियर जॉब में ऐसा सिचुएशन आएगा आपके पास, तो ट्रेड ऑफ बहुत जरूरी है. अब उससे सिचुएशन में क्या दे देंगे आपको, बोलेंगे जैसे एक छोटा सा केस है जैसे सामने आप देख रहे हो, दैट 5 लोग हैं, साइंटिस्ट है, डॉक्टर है, एमबीए, पॉलिटिशियन और फीमेल है, एक बोट में, और कुछ बारिश तेज हो गई और बोट डूबने वाली है. तो आपको इनमें से 2 लोगों को बचाना है. किन 2 लोगों को बचाओगे? समथिंग लाइक दैट. So on what grounds should I reach those two, whether it should be a scientist or an MBA, or a female and a doctor, or an MBA or a politician? किसको बचाऊं मैं? Again I repeat, your answers are not that important. कि आपने 2 नाम बोल दिए हो गया, नहीं चलेगा. You have to tell them the reasons behind why. That's what discussion is all about, right? So one catch which I can see in this question is that there are 4 professions and 1 gender, female. अभी मुझे 2 को चूज करना है, तो I can choose out of these 4, I can choose 1 profession, anyone, scientist, doctor, or MBA or politician, and that person is a female. I hope you get my point. ये 5 लोगों में से 2 नहीं चुनना है, इनफैक्ट 4 में से ही 2 चुनना है. क्यों? क्योंकि जो फीमेल है वो तो पॉलिटिशियन भी हो सकती है, एमबीए, डॉक्टर, साइंटिस्ट, कुछ भी हो सकता है. तो देखो 1 सेकंड में मेरी प्रॉब्लम 5 से 4 हो गई. अभी मुझे 5 में से 2 नहीं ढूंढनी है. I have to look for 2 out of 4 only. So that kind of, presence of mind do you have or not, to reduce the question and then come to an answer. So that's where they check your logical and analytical mindset, your common logic, your common sense, and one very important thing over here, ability to make valid assumptions. That's very crucial. देखो कोई भी केस में सारी बातें आपको नहीं पता होगी, सब सिचुएशन नहीं पता होगा. चाहे वो मैगी का केस था या पतंजलि का केस था कि कैसे वो 5 साल में they became a 20,000 crore company or even more, or Maggie, how did they manage to again come back even after that problem of lead in Maggie or something of that sort. So I tell you, whenever a situation or case comes to you, everything will not be there right in front of you. There'll be some facts, some data available. कुछ चीजें आपको एज्यूम करके चलना पड़ेगा. इवन जो इकोनॉमिक्स का बेसिक डेफिनेशन है लॉ ऑफ डिमांड का, उसमें भी दे से दैट if the price goes up, the demand goes down. If the price goes down, demand goes up. Keeping everything else constant, that's a big assumption they're making. यानी इकोनॉमिक्स का बेसिक चीज ही assumption पे डिपेंडेंट. बताओ, तो बी वेरी केयरफुल अबाउट इट. जो चीजें गिवन नहीं है, आप एज अ वैलिड assumption उसको लेकर उसको यूज कर सकते हो केस में सॉल्व करने के लिए, उस समय जब आपके सामने ये सिचुएशन क्रिएट करेंगे लोग. राइट? आई होप दैट मेक्स सम सेंस. ठीक है? सो आई मीन द प्रोसेस इज वेरी सिंपल. जब भी कोई भी केस आपके सामने दे, कोई भी कंपनी कुछ भी आपको केस दे, प्लीज लुक एट ऑल द फैक्ट्स अवेलेबल राइट इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू. सारे फैक्ट्स देखो, क्या क्या डेटा, क्या क्या है. ऑल्सो लुक एट द रीजंस फ्रॉम बोथ इंटरनल एंड एक्सटर्नल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. ये बहुत जरूरी है. अभी जैसे जीडीपी का डी ग्रोथ चल रहा है हमारी कंट्री में फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इसका रीजन क्या सिर्फ इंटरनल है? इसका रीजन क्या सिर्फ एक्सटर्नल है? या दोनों है? प्लीज कीप इन माइंड, दोनों है. इनफैक्ट इट शुड बी बोथ इंटरनल एंड एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर्स. कोई कंपनी लॉसेज में है तो चलो ठीक है, एक एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर है कि भाई कोविड है, एग्रीड, बट सिर्फ इतना नहीं चलेगा. you have to definitely look at some internal factors also. Are you losing employees? Are you not able to retain them? All those factors. Is there demotivation happening? I hope you get my point. तो ये देखना पड़ेगा। और फिर हो सकता है 5 प्रॉब्लम है, बट प्लीज आइडेंटिफाई द कोर प्रॉब्लम। मेन प्रॉब्लम क्या है? इट्स लाइक एन अनियन। प्याज के दाम बढ़ गए थे, बीच में भी कम हो गए। तो अनियन नहीं होता, जो धीरे धीरे हम पील ऑफ करते हैं ना, पहला लेयर, दूसरा लेयर, तीसरा लेयर, फिर बढ़िया वाला अंदर से खाने का मिलता है प्याज। वैसा कुछ केसेस ऐसे ही होते हैं। इट्स लाइक एन अनियन, यू नीड टू पील द आउटर लेयर। धीरे धीरे आउटर लेयर को पील करो, मेन प्रॉब्लम तक पहुंचो। दैट्स वेरी क्रूशियल गाइस। तो ये प्रोसेस होता है केस को सॉल्व करने का। पहले फैक्ट इकट्ठा करो, देखो इंटरनल एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर्स, कोर प्रॉब्लम आइडेंटिफाई करो। ऐसा नहीं कि सीधा सॉल्यूशन पे ही पहुंच गया। दैट्स रशिंग थ्रू, दैट विल नॉट हेल्प मच डियर स्टूडेंट्स। इसके बाद यू कैन लुक एट इवैल्यूएशन पैरामीटर्स कि अभी सॉल्व कैसे करें। प्रॉब्लम पता चल गई मुझे, कम अप विद 2-3 ऑल्टरनेटिव सॉल्यूशंस। और फिर उनको फिर वे करो कि ये 3 सॉल्यूशन में से सबसे अच्छा वाला कौन सा है, एंड देन यू ट्राई टू सॉर्ट इट आउट, फाइंड द आंसर टू दैट पर्टिकुलर प्रॉब्लम। अभी 3 में से एक सॉल्यूशन है शॉर्ट टर्म, एक है लॉन्ग टर्म। भाई बहुत ज्यादा जैम लगता है यहाँ पर, कहीं पर से रिंग रोड पे, तो फ्लाईओवर बनाना है यहाँ पर। अभी फ्लाईओवर बनानी है तुम्हें तो ठीक है, गुड, बट फ्लाईओवर तो एक दिन में बनने से रहा। इट टेक 3 years, 2 years, 5 years maybe. So that's your long term solution. What's your short term solution? That's very crucial. Create diversions maybe, broaden the road maybe, all the stuff, right? So when you think of any solution, please keep in mind this is very crucial, the short term and the long term, because magic doesn't happen कि आज सोचा कल तुमने सॉल्व कर दिया, ऐसा थोड़ी होता है। से फॉर एग्जाम्पल अभी एक केस आया था कहीं पर किसी एग्जाम में कि कोई अफ्रीका की कंट्री है, वहां पर पानी बहुत कम है, रेनफॉल कम है, बिकॉज ऑफ विच they're unable to grow plants over there. Dry country kind of, matlab not friendly to those plants which require more water. So now the people of that country is dying, and they are not able to even meet their ends. I mean, they're not able to eat twice even because of the problem of crops. So those people are dying right now, they need food. So can you give a solution that they should grow plants which require less water? Is this a good solution? भाई उनकी क्रॉप खत्म हो रही है क्योंकि बारिश नहीं हो रही, तो उनको ऐसे क्रॉप लगानी चाहिए जिसमें पानी कम होता है, जो पानी कम यूज करे, हवा के मॉइस्चर से ही काम चल जाए उसका। इन अ वे होते हैं ऐसे प्लान्स। इज दिस अ गुड सॉल्यूशन? नो, इट इज नॉट। इट्स अ लॉन्ग टर्म सॉल्यूशन, नॉट अ शॉर्ट टर्म। अरे अभी वो मर रहे हैं ना, अभी उनको बोलोगे आप वैसे प्लांट लगाओ, अभी कब लगाएंगे, कब वो प्लांट होगा, कब खाएंगे? आई होप यू गेट माई पॉइंट। दैट्स अ लॉन्ग टर्म सॉल्यूशन। अभी शॉर्ट टर्म में यू नीड टू प्रोवाइड फूड। Probably UN should provide food directly to them right away for another 6 months by the time they come up with that proper solution. I hope you get my point. ठीक है? So these things are crucial when you come up with any solution. और assumption देखो जरूरी है, valid assumption जरूरी है। I'll just show you a simple case, but before this I would like to see if somebody has anything to ask. If anybody has asked something in the chat box, let me check if in case. Okay, let me see. So do we have any questions so far? Anybody has anything to ask? Okay, there is one question by Sahil Ra. What are the abilities to make valid assumptions in decision making? See, valid assumption, it means that something which is practically feasible. That's your valid assumption. I'll explain that. I'll explain. It's a very relevant question to my next slide, which is right in front of you. That what is a valid assumption? Let us see. I'll explain that. So good question raised, Sahil. So let me show you this particular slide now. अब देखो इस केस में आप देख पा रहे हो कि 2 ट्रैक है यहाँ पर। एक ये ट्रैक है यहाँ पे और एक ये ट्रैक है, राइट? दिस नंबर 1 ट्रैक, दिस नंबर 2 ट्रैक. अभी देयर इज अ ट्रेन विच इज कमिंग ऑन दिस ट्रैक और यहाँ पर 3 चिल्ड्रन खेल रहे हैं. द 3 चिल्ड्रन वर प्लेइंग है. So this track is in use and this track is unused, मतलब अभी यूज में नहीं है. एंड यू आर स्टैंडिंग राइट हियर, तुम यहाँ खड़े हो, देख रहे हो ऐसा हो रहा है, ट्रेन बड़ी तेजी से आ रही है, एक स्पीडिंग ट्रेन आ रही है इस तरफ और तुम यहाँ खड़े हो और एक यहाँ पर यू कैन सी दैट देर इज अ यू नो इंटरचेंज, ट्रैक इंटरचेंज. You can make the train change its course to the unused track and save most of the kids. मतलब आप इस ट्रेन को इस रास्ते पे भेज सकते हो if you wish to. So seeing the situation, what should you do? Should you let the train go in this direction in track number 1 or should you change the direction to track number 2? Again, just not the answer but also the reasons. Now here comes the question of valid assumption. मतलब आप यहां पर ये सॉल्यूशन नहीं दे सकते कि दैट आई विल रन फास्टर देन द ट्रेन टू दोज 3 चिल्ड्रन, उनको मैं हटा दूंगा, फिर ट्रेन चली जाएगी. ना, हियर यू आर एज्यूमिंग दैट यू कैन रन फास्टर देन द ट्रेन, कि भाई मैं ट्रेन से तेज दौड़ जाऊंगा सुपरमैन की तरह और मैं पहुंच जाऊंगा उन बच्चों तक, उनको हटा दूंगा, ट्रेन फिर चली जाएगी साइड से, क्या दिक्कत है? सिंपल. राइट? सो दिस इज नॉट अ वैलिड assumption. ये वैलिड assumption नहीं है. यू कैन assume that you'll run faster than a train. केस में अगर बताया जा रहा है आपको कि एक स्पीडिंग ट्रेन है तो भाई आप, ये वैलिड नहीं हुआ assumption. आई होप यू गेट माई पॉइंट. हम ये एज्यूम कर सकते हैं कि वो 3 बच्चे जो हैं दे नो दैट दिस ट्रैक इज इन यूज, ट्रेन्स डू कम ऑन दिस ट्रैक. ये हम एज्यूम कर सकते हैं. भाई इन तीनों को पता है ट्रेन आती है और जब ट्रेन आएगी तो हॉर्न बजाएगी ट्रेन और फिर ये तीनों बच्चे उसको देखकर भाग जाएंगे, तो बच गए सब. ये हो सकता है वैलिड assumption. वैलिड assumption ये भी हो सकता है कि इफ आई लेट द ट्रेन गो इन दिस डायरेक्शन, अनयूज्ड वाले में भेज दूं अगर, क्योंकि यहां 3 बच्चे हैं, वहां तो एक ही बच्चा खेल रहा है, भाई ज्यादा लोगों को क्यों सैक्रिफाइस किया जाए. लेकिन इफ इट इज एन अनयूज्ड ट्रैक तो वैलिड assumption ये है कि क्या पता ट्रैक खराब है, और इफ आई सेंड अ ट्रेन टू दैट ट्रैक, you know, I'm risking the lives of so many people on the train. उनको भी तो रिस्क कर रहा हूं मैं लाइफ, उनकी ट्रेन की मैंने ट्रैक ही चेंज कर दी और भेज दिया न्यूज वाले पे, जिसके खराब होने का चांस है. अगेन वैलिड assumption कि खराब होगा. राइट? आई होप यू गेट माई पॉइंट. तीसरी बात, why, who am I to change the track? I'm just standing. What if others are able to see more than whatever I am seeing? ट्रेन मैनेज हो रहा है, उधर से देख रहे होंगे लोग क्या करना है, मैं तो वहां रैंडमली खड़ा हूं, सीधा मैं चेंज कर दूं ट्रैक बिना मतलब के. दैट्स अगेन अनदर पॉइंट. और जो लास्ट पॉइंट है वो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है, एथिक्स. किसकी गलती है? जो एक बच्चा वहां खेल रहा है उसकी क्या गलती है? वो तो अनयूज ट्रैक पे खेल रहा है, उसकी कोई गलती नहीं. बट ये 3 चिल्ड्रन यहां पर खेल रहे हैं, दे आर ऑन द रॉन्ग साइड, दे आर नॉट राइट. तो जस्ट बिकॉज वो 3 हैं और गलत है, उनको छोड़ दिया जाए, या एक जो अकेला है उनको हम सैक्रिफाइस कर दें क्योंकि वो एक ही है जबकि सही है वो. सो माइंड यू, this factor becomes the most important factor for your decision making. What you're doing, is that right? Are you sacrificing someone who's not at fault? That's a biggest mistake. 1000 लोग मान लो एक तरफ है, सब गलत है, और एक इंसान अगर सही है, I'll support that one person rather than those 1000 people who are wrong. I hope you get my point. Right? So I think I've answered that question on valid assumption. There's an interesting question raised and I hope you understand. तो यहां पर एज एन सोल्यूशन नहीं सीधा पहुंच जाना है, हमें बताना रीजंस. दैट्स मोर इंपॉर्टेंट. राइट? गुड इनफ. सो लेट मी सी इफ आई हैव एनीथिंग एल्स. If somebody has anything else, do we have any more question? If in case. Okay, I think we don't have it, so good enough. So I'll move on to the last part of my discussion, wherein I'll share some questions, some situations, and how to reach the answer to those particular question. And I've given some options also, so that it becomes easier for you to understand कि भाई कैसे हम solution तक पहुंचते हैं, right? Okay, good enough. ठीक है, Sahil, I've answered your question. So you need to be practical, and you need to take the course of action which is feasible. So these abilities you need. Okay. So there's another question by Neha. Ha, Neha, you're right. Sometimes it becomes very tricky to evaluate and solve problems, right? That, you know, it can be the result of lack of knowledge, lack of interest in that particular area, right? So for that, you need to gain knowledge. Say, for example, if the situation is financial, it's about some airline industry, and they've given you the balance sheet of that airline industry. Balance sheet दे दिया आपको, assets दिखा दिया, liabilities दिखा दी, सारा capital वगैरह सब आपके पास दे दिया, right? And now they're asking you what should be the future course, further course of action which should be taken by the company. Should they buy more aeroplanes? Should they take more loan, or they should continue with the same number of aeroplanes? और उधर और भी एक information है कि that there is a huge potential in this airline industry, and in the next 5 years it is bound to grow by 50% because so many airports are being going to open in India. देख रहे हो, एक तरफ आपको बता रहे हैं कि स्कोप बहुत ज्यादा है, फ्यूचर ग्रोथ भी है, नए नए एयरपोर्ट्स बन रहे हैं इंडिया में, और एक तरफ बोल रहे हैं कि कंपनी थोड़ी लॉसेस में थी, उनका बैलेंस शीट उतना अच्छा नहीं दिख रहा, तो क्या उनको और लोन लेकर और एरोप्लेन्स खरीदनी चाहिए? सी, in that case you need to understand the share value, understand what is capital, you need to understand their balance sheet. अगर नहीं समझोगे तो फिर कैसे आंसर कर पाओगे, है ना? I hope that makes some sense. So यहाँ पर what kind of ability do you need then, Neha? Knowledge, information. अगर वही नहीं है तो I cannot just go and take any decision. That's why when we say decision making is the key role of any manager, that doesn't only depend on the skill, it depends a lot on the knowledge. In fact, I would say more on the knowledge and thereby on the skill. Knowledge ही नहीं है तो हम उसको skill में use कैसे करेंगे? That's the important fact, right? So I hope I've answered that question, Neha. Okay. So if you have anything else, any other question, if in case. Okay, so I'll move on to the last part, and I'll give you some questions now. So let's go by that. So there is a question right in front of you, a simple question. I mean, if in case somebody gives the answer, I'll be happy. If in case you can give some answers also. So a situation here says that you are an officer in charge for providing basic medical facilities. See, you're providing the basic medical facilities to the survivors of an earthquake affected area, and you have put your best efforts, you have given your best, but still there are some people who are alleging and pointing fingers at you that you are making money out of the funds given for relief. ऐसा बोल रहे हैं. What should you do? What should be your decision? Should you let an inquiry be set up कि भाई चलो इंक्वायरी बिठा लो मेरे अगेंस्ट? Will you ask a senior कि भाई मुझे इस पोजीशन से हटाओ, I want somebody else to come? Or you will not pay attention at all कि भाई नहीं, क्या मैं तो ध्यान ही नहीं दूंगा इन चीजों पे. I'll not pay attention to all these allegations. I'll keep on working. Or should you stop undertaking any initiative कि मैं इतना अच्छा काम कर रहा हूं फिर भी लोग मेरे पे उंगलियां उठा रहे हैं, तो I'll not do it. So we have 4 options. क्या पता चारों सही है, but the job is what? To look for the best. सबसे अच्छा क्या है इसमें से? 4 में से सबसे बढ़िया डिसीजन कौन सा रहेगा अभी एट द टाइम, लुकिंग एट द होल सिचुएशन कि आज की डेट में ये सिचुएशन है, तो मैं क्या करूं? ए, बी, सी और डी. What should be my answer? Okay, so think on your answer. If in case, I'll just try to elaborate. See, A looks to be a good option. Let an inquiry be set up. By inquiry बिठा लो. Ask your senior to appoint some other person may not be a very good idea. आई एम गिविंग माई बेस्ट, व्हाई वुड आई आस्क माई सीनियर्स कि भाई किसी और को, इसको हटा देते. Not pay allegations to all these allegations, not paying attention, looks good, ठीक है भाई, मैं तो अपना काम कर रहा हूं ना, दुनिया वाले तो कोई ना कोई तो बोलेगा कुछ, क्यों मैं सुनूं सबकी बात, हो सकता है. स्टॉप अंडरटेकिंग एनी इनिशिएटिव, ये तो गलत है, काम नहीं करोगे. यहां पर लोग अर्थक्वेक सर्वाइवर्स हैं, उनको अभी आप मेडिकल फैसिलिटी नहीं दोगे, दिल डाई, ये तो हटा देते हैं. सो आई हैव टू गुड ऑप्शंस राइट नाउ, ए और सी. अभी इन दोनों में से ज्यादा अच्छा कौन सा है, अब थोड़ा नॉलेज यूज करेंगे. सी, आई एम एन ऑफिसर इन चार्ज. आई एम एट अ लेवल वेर इन आई कैन नॉट गो एंड टेल माई सीनियर्स की मेरे अगेंस्ट इंक्वायरी बिठा ही दो. वाई वुड आई? दैट्स बियॉन्ड माई अथॉरिटी. That's beyond my authority that I let an inquiry be set. If they want to set an inquiry, they'll do it in any case. अरे इंक्वायरी बिठाना हो तो बिठाएंगे ही ना, मेरे बोलने से बिठाएंगे या नहीं बिठाएंगे ऐसा थोड़ी है. और मैं उस अथॉरिटी पे तो हूं नहीं कि मैं अपने अगेंस्ट इंक्वायरी बिठवा ही लूं. आई होप यू गेट माई पॉइंट. तो ये मेरे अथॉरिटी से बाहर की बात है, ए वाला. तो जो बेस्ट होगा सी होगा कि मैं अपना काम अच्छे से कर रहा हूं, केस में लिखा है बेस्ट पॉसिबल एफर्ट. जब केस में है ही बेस्ट पॉसिबल एफर्ट, सो देन दैट्स हाउ इट इज. सो आई नॉट पे अटेंशन टू एलिगेशंस. अगर उनको इंक्वायरी बिठानी होगी तो बिठा देंगे, बट आई विल डू दिस. यानी कि सबसे बढ़िया मेरा है सी. इसके बाद वी कैन से ए कि भाई चलो इंक्वायरी बिठाओ. इसके बाद वी कैन से कि भाई चलो किसी और को मेरी जगह पर अपॉइंट कर लो. और लास्ट होगा डी, जब मैं अपना कोई भी इनिशिएटिव लेना बंद कर दूंगा. तो अगर ऑर्डर देखो तो ये ऑर्डर हो सकता है. सो वी कैन लुक एट दिस पर्टिकुलर ऑर्डर, बट सी हैज टू बी माय बेस्ट आंसर. आई होप दैट मेक सेंस. सी, ऐसे ही आपको कोई भी केस को सॉल्व करने के लिए बहुत सारे रास्ते होंगे. अभी वो जो भी आप सॉल्यूशन बताओगे, मान लो 3 सॉल्यूशन बताया है, अभी उन तीनों में से आप इवेलुएट करोगे ना कि सबसे अच्छा वाला कौन सा. देयर यू हैव टू यूज योर नॉलेज, योर इंफॉर्मेशन, द डेटा गिवन इन द केस. अच्छा, बेस्ट पॉसिबल एफर्ट मार रहा हूं मैं, फिर तो मेरी गलती नहीं है, लोग उंगलियां उठा रहे हैं ना, तो फिर क्या कर सकते, राइट? आई होप दैट मेक सम सेंस गाइस. ठीक है, सो प्रैक्टिकली शोन यू दैट हाउ टू reach a particular answer. That's what I try to do it with an example, so that it doesn't become a one-sided lecture to you कि अच्छा ऐसा होता है. कैसे करना है वो मैंने बताया आपको, because that's more important. How do I practically solve situation? That's more important. उसके लिए मेरे पास information knowledge होनी जरूरी है, facts को अच्छे से समझना हो, right? So one more case, and then if in case you have any questions, I'll take that. Let us look at this case of a company situation. एक कंपनी की सिचुएशन है, सिंपल सिचुएशन है, बहुत सिंपल है. Let's look at it. So you are handling, see, all the data has to be taken care of. Priority project, आप एक priority project handle कर रहे हो और आप अच्छा काम कर रहे हो. You've been meeting deadlines and are therefore planning your leave during project. आप deadlines meet कर रहे हो और आप plan कर रहे हो leave अपना, और आपका जो बॉस है वो नहीं दे रहा आपको छुट्टी. क्यों नहीं दे रहा? बोलता है अर्जेंसी है प्रोजेक्ट. अब आप क्या करोगे? You got all the data, priority project, you're meeting deadlines, you're planning a leave, boss says नहीं अर्जेंट है, अभी नहीं जा सकते. 3 ऑप्शन आपके पास. पहला ऑप्शन, प्रोसीड ऑन लीव विदाउट वेटिंग फॉर सैंक्शन. अरे छोड़ो, मैं तो अच्छा कर रहा हूं, चाह रहा हूं मैं छुट्टी पे. शायद नहीं. ऐसे कैसे चले जाओगे? बिना ऐसे चले जाओगे थोड़ी, राइट? We have our duties, responsibilities. We can just go by our whims and fancies. Approach higher authority to reconsider leave application. हो सकता है कि मैं हायर अथॉरिटी के पास जाऊं कि भाई आई बीन वर्किंग हार्ड, सो लीव शुड बी ग्रांटेड टू मी. हायर अथॉरिटीज, आई एम ब्रेकिंग द हायरार्की माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स. आई एम ब्रेकिंग द हायरार्की, व्हिच अगेन इज नॉट अ वेरी गुड आइडिया. बहुत बार हम वो चीज नहीं देख पाते जो हमारे सीनियर्स देख पाते हैं. बहुत बार अपने सीनियर्स की बुराई करते हैं, वो अलग बात है, बट नॉर्मली आई टेल you they can see more than we can see because of their experience, because of their knowledge, their expertise. C, tell the boss that it is not justified. तो B और C में से एक ज्यादा अच्छा आंसर है. अभी देखो, B के साथ प्रॉब्लम ये है कि मैं हायरार्की ब्रेक करके आई एम गोइंग टू माय बॉसेस बॉस. Doesn't look right. One second, it is. I mean, I need to know about the corporate now. What? There are two types of leaves normally. एक होता है planned leaves, एक होता है emergency leave. Emergency मतलब तबीयत खराब हो गई, बुखार हो गया, कुछ अर्जेंट कुछ काम आ गया. बट यहां पर ये कुछ भी नहीं है. इट्स नॉट एन अर्जेंट लीव. इट्स नॉट एन इमरजेंसी लीव. यू आर प्लानिंग योर लीव कि भाई थक गया, घूमने जाना है मुझे गोवा. कोविड ने परेशान कर दिया है मान लो. So, my dear students, you need to understand this point. It's a planned leave which you can shift to a week or two if once the project gets over. It's a priority project. Urgency है इसकी. और मैं तो प्लान कर रहा हूँ लीव भाई, एक वीक बाद चले जाना. You're doing good. I hope you get my point, my dear students. तो अभी बी और सी में से जो ज्यादा अच्छा आंसर होगा वो होगा सी. तो मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा माँ की गलत है. But the job remains. I need to go for the best. Right? So that's how you practically solve situations. Right? So I've explained to you what are the different situations which you can get in different exams during recruitments, in GDs. You need to first of all identify the facts. After identifying the facts, you need to then look at internal external factors. After that, you need to definitely look at the core problem and other problems, and then try to hit the problem with some solutions. और वही जो 3-4 सोल्यूशन अभी दिखाए मैंने आपको, उनमें से फिर आपको इवैल्यूएट करके देखना पड़ेगा सबसे अच्छा वाला सोल्यूशन कौन सा है. एंड लास्ट बट नॉट द लीस्ट, शॉर्ट टर्म सोल्यूशन, लॉन्ग टर्म सोल्यूशन, एंड मे बी अ बैकअप प्लान. दैट विल बी अ वेरी गुड आइडिया. अ बैकअप प्लान. व्हाट इफ माय प्लान फेल्स? फिर क्या होगा? फ्लाईओवर बनानी थी लेकिन मान लो फ्लाईओवर नहीं बन पाए तो क्या करेंगे? ऐसा कुछ. एक डैम की जरूरत है, डैम बनने में 10 साल लगेगा, अगर ठीक से नहीं बन पाया तो क्या बैकअप प्लान है मेरे पास? तो ऐसे कॉर्पोरेट्स काम करते हैं, ऐसे एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव ऑफिसर्स काम करते हैं, ऐसे आप काम करोगे व्हेन यू एंटर द कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड इन डिफरेंट फील्ड्स. राइट? So this is where I would like to end my discussion on case studies and decision making. So I've answered some of the questions. If in case I have some more, I would love to answer those. So Bhumi and Yogaraj, do we have anything else? It can be based on any career related questions or interview based questions or anything on how to crack different exams. If in case we have anything. Okay. So that's it from T.I.M.E. And I'd like to sign off now from here. So it was a pleasure taking the session for North Cap University.
Yeah,
So
thank you so much, sir.
to all the students out there for tomorrow's CAT exam as well. So tomorrow is the CAT exam. So I'd like to wish
Yes, sir.
all the best to all the students taking CAT tomorrow.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time. It was a great presentation, and honestly speaking, today at the North Cap, a lot of students find these case studies a tedious job to do. So you have identified the main issues mostly. So I think everyone doubt has been cleared. So I guess that was all from the audience side also. So it was a splendid session, and I am sure this discussion was very productive and beneficial for all our attendees. So this is me, Yogesh Yadav, signing off for the day, and thank you all for joining us. And we will, you will find our social media handles link down in the description. So don't forget to check them out. And we will come back again with another and exciting event. So stay tuned and have a nice day. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Best of luck. Bye
Thank you,
bye.
sir.
Take care.
Thank you, sir.